Today we're doing another fix on a dishwasher. If your dishwasher is not heating up the water, this one stops halfway through the cycle, beeps at you repeatedly, open the door, fill the water, and the water is cold, which seems to be why it is beeping. Then you probably need to change the heater element, but first you need to get to it and test it, see whether it has gone. So pull your dishwasher out, disconnect it from the mains electricity. If you're lucky, you might be able to lay it on its side like this without all disconnecting the water and the drain hoses. In my situation I can do that. And then we need to get access to the bottom of the machine. So we need to remove whatever size screws we've got on here. I think these are star type ones. Yep, so we need general purpose set of screwdrivers, screwdriver bits like this. Really obviously a screwdriver handle, so next we'll do that. So we've got the bottom off the product. This one was just held in with a couple of screws and this flexible plastic cover. Actually didn't need to take the front panel off. I took it off just to identify where the heater was, held on with a couple of screws. Some hidden behind the bottom of the door under here, but you work that out if you have a look around. Anyhow, looking round, you then need to locate where the heater element is. So, for instance, to identify some of the bits, this is obviously the water pump because it's got the exit hose on it. That's the exit water pump, I should say. This one, I'm guessing, probably is the water pump for circulating and washing around the machine, I guess. Bit on the side, a temperature sensor, by the looks of things. And if you trace where all the wires go, you'll see that some of the wires go to this little thing over here, which was hidden behind this plastic cover. Quite difficult to remove. You actually have to pull it back towards you and then release these little plastic bits from where they're stuck on the metal. And you see that little hole in the plastic there goes on that shaft. That's why you have to pull it back so much. So this is obviously the heating element, because you see it's got little ceramic insulators, two hefty wires going to it and an earth connection. And if we test on our multimeter, so set the multimeter to resistance scale, so we're testing across the heater element, and actually we're reading 30 ohms, which probably is about right. Let's just double check that by disconnecting the wires to the heater element and make sure the driving circuit's not interfering with it. So now we've got one side actually disconnected, so we can measure just the heating element, and we've still got 30 ohms, so the heater element seems to be okay. If it was reading infinite resistance, then of course change the heating element. It's held in with a nut on that shaft in the middle, but in our case, since there's not the heating element, then it must be the power that has a problem getting to the heater. And if we trace back the wires back from the heating element, then we can see that the wires go through the metalwork onto this little box here, which has two wires going to it. That is actually a micro switch, which you can remove and check it's working, measure the resistance of it. You need to get two knives down either side of that white block. It's pinched in by the housing plastic. It is possible to wobble it from side to side and pull it out. And what you'll find is that switch actually conducts when a piece of plastic pushes on it from the other side. And the function of that is a pressure sensing switch. So that switch only allows current to go to the heater when there's sufficient water pressure going from the pump and pumping the water around the machine. And so I suspect what has happened is that if we look at the machine, we find that the door wasn't quite shutting properly, which means it wasn't fully pushing this top tray all the way home against the back. And at the back you get the water jet attachment, this little tube here, that gas has to go into one of those holes at the back. If it's not fully all the way back and creating a tight seal, then pardon me, then some of the water will leak out. The water pressure will go down in the supply pipe, and there's a pressure switch on there which activates the supply to the heating element via a little micro switch that we saw underneath. And without the heating element activated, the water doesn't get warmed up, and as a result it detects an error because the water is not warm enough, and then stops halfway through the cycle and starts beeping. So I found that making sure the door is shut firmly, sometimes it helps to push these side rails all the way back. Check particularly that this side is fully shut. Then the dishwasher worked fully straight away without any beeping and completed all the way through to the end of its cycle. So hopefully that helps somebody. The other thing I did was clean out the pump underneath as well. Really easy to do. Just dismantle it and twists apart. But it's all back to working again. Hopefully that helps somebody. Thanks for watching. Bye.